So I've had this car for a couple days and just over 100 miles. It's a current generation 530i, and I can't say I'm gonna miss it. It reminds me of an E60. When the E60 came out, the design was immediately dated. It felt like a step backwards in some ways from the E39. And I keep on getting that feeling from this car, where it could be that this is pre-LCI, and this tends to happen with BMW. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. But like the E60, there's good hardware under here. It's just that the software, the user interface, the design, the interior, the visibility, materials, and on and on and on, just aren't there. And, you know, I mean, when I sit in this thing and I think I'd rather have a Tesla Model 3. I know it's not a comparable car, but just in terms of that car's interior, doesn't seem as bad as this one from a usability standpoint or from a materials standpoint. So it feels like BMW continues to take one step forward, one step back, or sometimes two step forward, one step back, or some combination of those numbers. But I know they can do better than this, and I know they're saving better than this for higher end models. But the problem is those models, they'll be stuck with this same user interface. So we're definitely a generation or two behind BMW on this interface. I know this is your newest and your latest and your greatest, but it already feels like a 10-year-old car in here. Really frustrating interface to use. The shifter too feels like, I didn't mind it until the age of electrification that now has me thinking forward for forward and reverse for reverse. So if you're going to use a system like this, like, let's decide on a convention and stick to it. And all these moments later of driving, 24 hours, 48 hours, you know, I have yet to be able to figure out how to use a number of the features in the car. And I know they're all locked into the center screen, but the touch screen, bad idea. The iDrive controller worked just fine in 2017. I'm not sure why they had to go beyond that. It worked fine before then. But this is just sort of change for change's sake, and this feels like a car that was designed in an era when everyone was still thinking Tesla was going to dominate. And clearly Tesla was leading the industry in the wrong direction. And I've been trying to telegraph that to the world for too many years now. So with this car, good mechanicals, really clings well in corners. It's got double wishbones up front, so the car can be trusted in a hard corner even when it's bumpy. Powertrain, smooth, silent, strong. Still a 4-cylinder at 60 grand, which feels very strange to me. That feels like a 30 grand car, not a 60 grand car, and always will to me. But yeah, good hardware, can really be hustled. I'm liking the OE tire quite a bit. And I'd like to see where else they take the tuning of this car. I mean, can you imagine like M5 CS applied to this structure and platform? Will be a great driver's tool, but too big, too blocky, too hard and difficult. Sorry about the noise in the back. I'm using it as a hauler. But speaking of hauling, it's done really well on these winding roads. I just am eager to give it back, and I'm eager to get my E39 back. And I felt that way since I took the wheel. And within the first couple miles was like, I want my car back. So E39 ownership spoils you, I know, but I'd like to see better from BMW, and this is not really better all around. This is just better in certain ways. I think the last generation car felt more compelling as an overall package, and this car's chassis feels to be better resolved. Again, like E39 versus E60. So if you've driven one of these, I'd love to know what you think. And one last note, this instrument panel layout cannot die soon enough. Truly terrible, and huge waste of space, not very easy to read, just awful. There's a lot of just awful here. And BMW, I'm waiting for your response to all the criticism. You're cleaning up your exterior design language, and now it's time to clean up your interior design language. As they say, let's go.